Okay. Um, hello. Uh, I signed up for a Pokemon Draft League. Uh, a little tidbit about me. I enjoy competitive VGC, like doubles Pokemon. I've done a bit of it, starting only really in Sword and Shield. I played a bit on cartridge. I joined a Discord where I was a gym leader for a while, and did a few seasons as like a fire gym leader in this Discord where they had this like gym challenge. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun with it. I had a really good record. Uh, and then I saw uh, this thing for a entire Pokemon League based around unevolved Pokemon. And it's called Little Cup, and I thought that was super cool. And right around when I saw it, I was pretty busy, so I couldn't do anything. Then I checked in on it like 2 months later, and they were having signups for this draft league. So I signed up, and here we are. And I did participate in this draft league, and my spot in the draft league was third, which is a pretty good spot. Obviously first, second, or second to last, and last would be slightly better, but and the reason that is like if you're not familiar with draft, you might think going last is horrible, but the way it is it's a snake draft, so it goes 1 goes, 2 goes, 3 goes, so me makes its way down to the end, down to 13, I believe. 13 gets their pick, then 13 gets a pick immediately again, so they get 2 picks in a row. So being at the very beginning or the very end basically guarantees you can pick Pokemon that have really great synergy and you can make great team compositions. So I'm kind of towards the beginning. I can get some early strong picks, and I'm sort of towards the wheel, so I can get some good synergy picks. So 3, pretty good spot. And then I decided I'd just do a breakdown of this draft because I'm going to be posting the videos of my games. I decided there was 3 leagues for it. There was 2 of them being done in actual Sword and Shield, and 1 of them being done in Showdown. Watching regular Sword and Shield is way more fun than watching Showdown, I get that, but I'm pretty busy. I don't have a crazy amount of time on my hands, and just grinding to get all the Pokemon trained up and like EVs, IVs, all that. I didn't have the time to do that if I wanted to stay ahead of school and extracurricular activities, and doing videos, which I'm going to try and do more of, I promise. So this is pretty impromptu. I'm doing this entirely like one take live, so don't expect too much out of this. Don't expect a lot of editing and stuff. This is just going to be a breakdown of my draft and explaining my thought process and getting some mons and how well I think I did. So get into it. My first Pokemon I drafted, on the left side you can see my whole draft, and then on the right side you can see I brought up Cerebi. I'm just going to show the Pokemon and go over some of the details about why I picked it. So I got the 3rd round picked, and I picked I got the 3rd pick. I picked Frillish. So why did I pick Frillish? 1, water and ghost type, pretty good type. Water's a strong type all around in Pokemon, has a lot of effectiveness. It's weak to electric and grass, and one of the big things in this league is that the 2 best mons were Rufflet and Grookey. And Rufflet's a flying type, so it kind of keeps Grookey in check, and Grookey's still amazing. They actually banned Rufflet for this draft league because they thought it would be too unfair, and the first person would always pick it. So Rufflet was entirely banned, so Grookey's probably going to run rampant. In all 3 leagues, Grookey was the first pick, which should show you how good people think it is, and how good it is. And Grookey was a big check to Frillish, because it's a water type. But in Draft League, only 1 person is going to have Grookey, so I really think it helps water types and ground and rock types and other types that are other mons that really struggle against Grookey. So I picked Frillish. Abilities are okay. I mean, none of them are too amazing or anything. The abilities aren't making this mod. What's really making it is it's a Trick Room setter. and it's a pretty bulky one, but it can also be very versatile. So 50 defense is kind of low, 85 special defense is really high, 55 HP is good, 40 speed is a bit weird, like you'd want your Trick Room setter to be maybe a bit slower, but it's good enough. It's fast enough that if I see my opponent has a strong Trick Room mode, maybe I want to try and stop them from setting Trick Room. But it's slow enough that if they're hyper offense and they don't want Trick Room going up, it's more than slow enough to take advantage of Trick Room. But not only that, it can run some other interesting stuff. So you could run this thing as an offensive mon. It gets Water Spout. Water Spout's a spread move that does more damage the more HP you have. So I think by pairing this with some of my other mons, I can get off really strong Water Spouts, doing massive damage. Gets Icy Wind for speed control. It gets Will-O-Wisp. It gets Trick Room, as I said. You could pair Hex with Will-O-Wisp. I wouldn't really recommend it. I think you're better off just going for Shadow Ball. But you can do it. You get Ice Beam, Psychic, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, Energy Ball. Even Sludge Wave if you want to pair it with a Metal type, which I do have. Scald for single target water, and Dazzling Gleam. So this thing gets a lot of coverage. Also, I didn't go over it before, but part of the support is it gets Recover. So a really good support set I was thinking about running would be Trick Room, Recover, Will-O-Wisp, and then maybe Water Spout or Scald, depending on who I'm pairing it with. But I could also run it with Shadow Ball if you know, they're gonna have a lot of water resist, or I can even run a non-stab move. You know, Dazzling Gleam is a really good move for support mons, you know, being able to do spread damage, break focus sashes, all that. It gets Acid Armor, so it can actually make its defense stat even better, so that's another thing I need to consider when making it, you know, a support set. It wouldn't be I can run this thing hyper offensively, as I'll go into in a second, and I can run this thing support. It also gets Strength Sap, which I think is pretty interesting. What this does is that it says it right here, but it cuts down the opponent's HP and then heals you and then lowers their attack. So it's not like other draining moves where it just heals you. It cuts down their HP. Or I mean, it doesn't cut down. It doesn't cut down their HP. It takes their attack, heals you by that much, and then lowers their attack. So you can really weaken physical attackers with this mon. Because you could do that, or you could do Will-O-Wisp. I think just going for Will-O-Wisp is usually better, because Burn just cuts their physical attack in half. But you can go Strength Sap if you want to give it more longevity, but Recover is going to be your more standard move. But, I mean, I'll look into it. It might be better after I try it out to just run Strength Sap instead of Recover and Will-O-Wisp, and then you get an extra slot for another coverage move. So maybe that's something I need to look into. And then, as you can see on the left, oh, by the way, I didn't go over this. My team is the New Jersey washed up Sandiles. I did not get Sandile, unfortunately. Someone else got it. I think it's their second pick, so I couldn't get it. Even if I could, I don't know if I would have taken it. Doesn't get all that much. I looked into it for a while. I don't think it's impossible to use. I think it's just very difficult. It has a lot of weaknesses. But watch me say that, then get absolutely annihilated by the person who did take it. Alright, so for my next mon, I got Purrloin. Spelled that wrong. No, I did not. Derby is just dumb sometimes. Why is it? Did I spell something wrong? Alright, I'm just gonna put it in again. Maybe just type in per. That it up. Alright, there we go. Don't know what's going on. Never had that happen before. Whatever. Purrloin. Alright. So as I was just saying, Frillish can be run as a hyper offense mon. You might be saying, how? You usually need another mon to support Trick Room hyper offense mons or another Trick Room setter. If it wants to set its own Trick Room, how is it going to be run hyper offense? I am glad you asked the exact question that I am prepared to answer. Because this is how. In regular VGC, there's this silly little strategy where you use Prankster. Prankster is a very good ability. it gets a lot of usage out of me in my challenge run video that should be going up hopefully sometime soon. I promise I am working on that. It's a really good move, a really good ability. What it does is any non-attacking moves, it boosts their priority. So Will-O-Wisp, you know, Thunder Wave, Leech Seed, all those get boosted up to +1 priority. And it makes it so that way you can get them off before other things are able to do stuff. So they have a strong physical attacker. You want to get Will-O-Wisp off crazy fast. And cut their physical attack in half. You can do that. You can't do that with Purrloin, but you can do it with other mons. But the strategy is that with Lightbard, you use Copycat. So Copycat copies a move used directly before it. And it has this crazy interaction with Dynamax, where when you Dynamax and you have Trick Room in your on your moves, Trick Room turns into Max Guard. So you Max Guard, you have Lightbard to use Copycat, making its next move be making it copies the move directly before. It can't copy Max Guard, so it copies the move it's based off, which is Trick Room, and now you have priority Trick Room. So usually Trick Room has negative priority, like -5, so it is almost always going to go last unless you get some crazy priority jank going on. But basically it's always going to be going last. By using Copycat, you do waste a turn of your Dynamax, but you basically guarantee that it goes off, and then you have your strong Trick Room on in Dynamax ready to use its next 2 turns to boost itself and start, you know, going hyper offense mode. The benefits of this is that you don't need to risk losing one of your mons on turn 1 while you're trying to set up Dynamax. Oh, and another thing I didn't mention about Frillish that's good is that one weakness of Trick Room is that you can be you know, fake out, then can't move, can't get it up. Yeah, because it's Ghost, it's immune to normal type, so it can't be hit by fake out, so that's good. But Purrloin, I can do that Copycat strategy. It gets fake out. I wanted a fake out mon. Fake out's very strong. You get Thunder Wave, you get Charm to lower attack, you get Rain Dance and Sunny Day. I mean, I'm never going to use Sunny Day, but I'll discuss later. I am going to use Rain Dance, or I think I can use it. And then you can run it with Snarl to lower special attack. It actually gets some pretty good coverage moves. Its defensive stats are pretty bad. All of its stats all around besides speed are pretty bad. Its attack and special attack aren't horrible, and it does get some coverage moves, so you can do that. You can run it with quick attack if you just want to break focus sashes, and you want a priority move besides fake out, but it really depends. You can do trick, so you could do trick paired with priority to stop someone an eject button and get them out. I'll waste their Dynamax. I don't know if I will do that because it's a pretty jank strategy. But you get a lot of things with Prankster. Priority Yawn basically just ensures that if Purrloin is like if Purrloin had just been hit by a super strong move and it's on 1 HP because of Focus Sash, basically it guarantees that I'm going to be moving first and getting something off before it goes down. Almost always. My standard set's probably going to end up being like, if I'm pairing it, well, it depends what I'm trying to use it for. It's a very versatile mon, which is why I grabbed it, but standard sets would be like Fake Out, Thunder Wave, Charm, and then an attacking move. So, you know, you'd want to stab Dark, probably, so maybe you run Snarl. I wouldn't really make it that good offensively, but it gives some presence. You get Night Slash, you get Sucker Punch, you get Foul Play, Dark Pulse. So it really depends which situation you want. You know, special attack is a bit better because it means you can't be lowered by Intimidate, but it's up to you. It gets coverage in either. It gets Play Rough, it gets Gunk Shot, gets Speed Bomb for some reason, Hyper Voice even, Shadow Ball. It gets a lot. So, and I got U-Turn. So, you know, this thing can do quite a bit. That's Purrloin. My next mon, one thing I should discuss is that I did just go down the line, which in the description I'm going to link. Earlier today they did a stream where they broke down everyone's draft and did way more quick descriptions of each team and highlighted things and all that. Mine's going to be way more in depth for my team. It's going to be a pretty long video, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. But if you're one of my friends, I am expecting you to. And if you don't, we are no longer friends, so you know who you are. But if you want to see that, they go in depth on each team. Probably not the best idea to be breaking down my team, considering now people are going to know some of my strategies I should keep secret, but I need content. Alright, next mon. Ferroseed. Ferroseed. This thing is pretty broken. At least I think it will be in Draft League. Grass is kind of held back by its 5 weaknesses. It's weak to fire, flying, ice, poison, and bug. So the big one is fire. You know, flying you don't want to be weak to. Max Airstream is pretty common. And then poison, bug, and ice aren't that big a deal. They're not that common, but you don't want 5 weaknesses. It makes it very difficult, because if things are running coverage moves, chances are they have something that can hit grass. But you pair that with steel, and steel is obviously the best defensive type. And you are left with a mon with a 4x weakness to fire, a 2x weakness to fighting, and that's it. It resists 1, 2, 3, a 4x resist to grass. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 types, and it has an immunity to poison. So yeah, it has a 4x weakness to fire, and you know, teams can plan for that, but just looking at the rest of my team, you can kind of see here, I gotta do something real quick. I'm just closing another. I just had to close another thing so it was easier to navigate around this. As you can see, I don't really have a problem dealing with fire types. Frillish, obviously a water type. Tyrunt, Torchic. Stufful will have problems with fire, but I can always change its ability to be Cute Charm instead if I don't want Fluffy. Baltoy doesn't have a problem, and then these two are both also water types. But the reason this thing is so good is that this thing has base 90 and 86 defenses respectively, is crazy slow. It's super defensive, resists almost everything. Not almost everything. It resists half the types in the game. Has 2 weaknesses. The only thing that's actually going to be doing damage to this mon is fire types. And then you give this thing in a Violite and boost its base 91 and base 86 defenses to be almost base 150. So with max stats at level 50, it can be 143 and 138, and multiply that by 1.5 times because of the Violite. This thing is going to be impossible to take down. The one thing they said earlier is that if this is going to be like my answer for grass, because I am a bit grass weak, which I'll go into. I don't think I'm that grass weak. I'll go into that in a bit. Basically, these two are never going to be on the same team as Frillish. Like if I'm bringing these two, or well, they might be on the same team, so I might have Frillish and one of these two, but like I'm never going to be bringing them to the same match. It really depends. But that's why I don't think I'm that grass weak. But I'll go to that in a bit. So they were worried in the stream earlier. They said this thing, like, it's really defensive, but like it's not really a great answer to grass, which I can see. But I disagree. So again, it's super defensive, and its 2 stab max moves are amazing. So what you would do with this thing is that you'd run it basically like Ferrothorn. You're going to bring it out in Trick Room. It's going to be the slowest thing on the field, so it becomes the fastest in Trick Room. And then you Dynamax it. Obviously use its base 50 attack. Not crazy high, but it doesn't really need to be. And then you fire off some strong moves. Like, you get Iron Head. You get Pin Missile, which I'll just say now, like, Pin Missile is... You probably run that to get max Flutterby, which is, you know, max bug. It decreases the opponent's special attack, which makes you even more bulky. But max steel increases your defense, and max bug, its other stab, which you would get from Bullet Seed, makes it so your defense is higher. Or no, steel makes it so your defense is higher. Grass puts up grassy terrain and boosts grass type moves. and makes it so you start healing. So if you have a crazy bulky mon that's healing itself every turn at the end of the turn, it's going to be very difficult to take down. And you could even run it non-Dynamax. Its evolution, Ferrothorn, is like the only mon throughout all of Sword and Shield that have ever had any success running Leech Seed. Basically, stall strategies are very common in singles, but in doubles, because there's 2 Pokemon on the field that can target you, you don't really want stall strategies like Leech Seed. But you can do it in you could do it with Ferrothorn to some success because it's just so bulky, and Ferroseed's the exact same way. Other things, you get knockoff. Why does this thing get knockoff? You get Poison Jab. Why does this thing get Poison Jab? It gets Thunderbolt. You're never going to run it. Base 25 special attack. You're never going to run this thing specially. So what you're probably going to run it with is, you know, Protect, Max Steel Spike, Max Overgrow, like Iron Head, Seed Bomb, and then a coverage move based on what you need in that game. Like, you could run Revenge just to get Max Knuckle to make it so this thing is more powerful. You could get Poison Jab just to get coverage. I don't think you'll need it because Poison hits Fairy and Bug and one other type I'm forgetting. It doesn't matter. It's not giving you anything important. It hits Grass. Right, it hits Grass. So basically, you're never gonna run a Poison. You'd run you'd maybe run what is it? The bug move it gets. I can't remember the name. I can't think right now. You run Max Strike for speed control. I don't think you'd really want to, because you don't really want to lower your opponent's speed under Trick Room, because that's when this thing wants to be under. Max Darkness. It lowers special defense. But you'd run Knockoff on this thing quite often because Knockoff's an amazing move. But that is Ferroseed. I'm really excited to use this mon. I think it's really strong. I think it's a great grass answer. 4 times resistance to grass. Covers that grass weakness amazingly. The fact that it gets 2 coverage types to deal with that is amazing. I think Steel and Grass max moves are amazing on this super bulky mon. But I will stop gushing over it and move on to our next mon. Joltik. So, one big thing in VGC is speed control. Right now I have 2 forms of it. I have Frillish with Trick Room, and I have Purrloin with Thunderwave. That gives me 2 amazing ways to have speed control. Also, Purrloin can do Rain Dance to set up Cliff Swim users, aka these 2. We'll get into that in a bit. Now I get Joltik. Joltik was a mon I was very surprised was in the 3rd tier. I think this thing is really underrated, and it barely gets any play in the actual Little Cup, and Caterpie does. Which, I mean, Caterpie's ability basically protects you from being flinched. Caterpie's ability makes it so you can't moves used on you don't have secondary effects. So Fake Out would still hit and do damage, it just wouldn't flinch you. That's a pretty good ability. Joltik's abilities aren't quite as good. Compound Eyes is somewhat good because what you're using this thing for is Electro Web. Electro Web is a spread electric type move that lowers the opponent's speed. So if I don't want to run a Trick Room mode, I can run this thing with Electro Web. Unnerve is pretty good. If I know they're gonna have a berry, I can run that form. I don't think I'm ever gonna run this thing crazy offensively. I mean, it doesn't have horrible stats for it. Its defenses are pretty good. Special attack's pretty good. Its speed, it actually has really good stats for a Little Cup. So you could run this thing. I'll have to look into that. I'll have to do some practice matches. I just haven't had time lately. But what you're gonna do, you're probably gonna run an Electro Web. You run it with, I have 1 ground type. You could run Discharge on it. I don't think you're gonna want to. You run Thunder Wave for even more speed control, or String Shot for more speed control. I think Thunder Wave is probably better. It depends. Thunder Wave can't hit certain thing. These 2 are basically the same. Maybe String Shot's a bit better. It's more accurate. It can hit more things, and it can be used multiple times to lower speed even more. But no, Paralysis is better. totally just blanked on the ability to just sometimes stop them from moving. So you're probably gonna run it like Electro Web. Bug Buzz is an amazing move, 90 base power. You run it with Light Screen. Remember when like Wolfie did Draft League and just had Jolteon run Light Screen sometimes for that? This thing could be like budget Caterpie. I say budget Caterpie. Caterpie was in the same exact tier as this mon. Oh, also it gives me an electric type, which is always nice. Electric is a very strong type. And it's not even weak to ground anymore because Bug resists ground. It's actually Bug and Electric are a pretty good type combination. It has 2 weaknesses, so I really don't have that many common weaknesses on my team. Like, yeah, Fire is somewhat of a problem, but I'm about to go into 2 mons that resist it. So you're gonna run like Electro Web, Bug Buzz, probably. You could run Volt Switch, you could run Thunderbolt, depends on what you want. You could even run this thing physically. Like if you want to run this thing as an actual offensive mod, you could run Bounce for speed control, you know, it's max move, Frost Poison for coverage, Leech Life to heal yourself. Leech Life is very strong. I had a team a while back in like Series 9 where I used Centiskorch. And Centiskorch, Gmax Centiskorch was really, like, it wasn't amazing, but I had a lot of fun running it. And it was really strong outside of Trick Room because it had Leech Life and it was a bit able to like heal itself and make it so much more sustainable. You get Energy Ball for coverage, Electro Ball. I don't think you'd ever run it. Better off just running Thunderbolt. Lunge could even be good to lower attack. And it can actually run Skitter Smack, because usually you wouldn't want to run that because, you know, it's not that accurate. But with Compound Eyes, the nice thing about Compound Eyes is basically sometimes your Electro Webs won't hit, and then you are sad, and that your whole plan is ruined, and you could just lose on turn 1 because an Electro Web with 95 accuracy doesn't hit. Compound Eyes, I think, makes it so it hits all the time. I'm almost certain. And Skitter Smack would be almost fully accurate, if not fully accurate, with Compound Eyes. So you could run a pretty cool set with Lunge and Skitter Smack, where it allows you to lower both of those while dealing big damage. Because its attack stat's not even that low. But in general, you're going to run this thing as a special support mon. Pretty standard. I'm really looking forward to using this thing. Also, funny thing I noticed is I went 5 or 4 mons. They were all from Gen 5. I love Gen 5 mons. My next mon is Tyrunt, which I am really surprised this thing didn't go earlier. I was really worried about getting this thing. Tyrunt is a monster. This thing is scary. Basically, why Tyrunt is broken. Reason 1, it is a dragon type. That is already good. So it's a rock dragon. Rock's not the best type. Rock's kind of a bad type. I do have a little bit of weakness to fighting, like Purrloin, Ferroseed, Tyrunt, Stufful, all are weak to fighting. Frillish is immune, Joltik resists. I mean, even Stufful. Stufful's going to be neutral to it because we'll get into that in a little bit. Basically, it'll be neutral to it. I don't think fighting is going to be that big a deal, but Rock's not the best type, as I just said. Because it really struggles defensively, but it's really amazing offensively. So it's weak to Ice, Fighting, Ground, Dragon, Steel, and Fairy, which is a lot. But it also has some important resist. Resisting normal is nice. 4 times resistance to fire is big. Electric, Poison, Flying, that's it. So Dragon's a very good defensive type, being only weak to 3 types, including itself, so that barely counts, because, you know, yeah, Dragon coverage could be Dragon, but it also means that if you're using a Dragon to counter Dragon, guess what? They can also counter you. So defensively, it's pretty bad, because, again, Rock, horrible defensively, but it gets Strong Jaw and Sturdy, but you're not going to run Sturdy on this thing. Strong Jaw boosts the power of biting moves by 50%. Let's look at the moves this boosts, and then we will look at the moves this thing gets. Not that many moves. Doesn't really matter how few moves it boosts. It boosts Crunch by 50%. that makes Crunch a 120 base power move. One of the big things about the Fang moves, like Fire, Ice, and Thunder, they're not 100% accurate, which is already annoying. But they have really low power for no reason. Like, it makes no sense why these things are so low. Which maybe it does. Like, they can each, you know, burn, freeze, and paralyze and flinch, so they have those chances, but the chances of them happening are pretty low. But it makes it so these moves that have really low power have quite a bit higher power. Like, they're going to be above 90 power now, or 95 power now. It'd be like 97, 98, depending on how it rounds, I don't know. Not like 97 power with that still ability like burn, freeze, or paralyze. Thunderfang becomes crazy powerful. Jawlock is just Crunch, but better, so even more powerful. Another 120 base power move. You can even run Poison Fang. Poison Fang has a 50% chance to poison, so it'd be a bit luck dependent, but you wouldn't run that thing actually. It only boosts up to 75 base power. But this thing gets all of them, and that basically means that at any time it could just throw out like a Jawlock, which isn't stab boosted, but it's 120 power with no drawback. This is where Rock becomes good. Rock Slide is arguably the best move in all of VGC. It has a 30% chance of flinch, hits both Mons. Yeah, it's only 90 accurate, but it's very good all around. That ability to just fire off a stab Rock Slide that just could flinch and throw a giant wrench in the opponent's plans is amazing. And then you can Dynamax it, but this thing doesn't even need to Dynamax because it can throw out crazy powerful moves without Dynamax. A really good pairing, I think, would be Tyrunt, because it has a weird speed tier. Unfortunately, I didn't get that many super slow Mons like I did want to. I got sniped a few times. Like, even Baltoy, I wanted Elgium, or just a pure Psychic type. It got picked way up here, like way earlier than I was thinking. And then I wanted Muna to pure Psychic Gen 5 Mons, but that also got picked. So I had to be left with Baltoy, which is really fast for a Trick Room setter. But Tyrunt, I already explained why it's good. It gets Crunch, gets Rock Slide, Dragon Claw for Stab Dragon. Stab Dragon's good just because you max it, it lowers their attack, makes you more bulky by extension. It gets all three of the elemental fangs, and as I said, you know, a lot of time you have to like debate running them because yeah, it gives you coverage, but they're pretty weak. Not with Tyrunt. Tyrunt can make them super strong. You can run Earthquake if you want to increase your special defense. You can do that. You get Superpower. Again, you get Crunch. You can run a Dragon Dance set, I guess. I don't think you'd want to. You wouldn't run Superpower. You'd run Close Combat. You'd run Psychic Fang. Psychic Fang is an amazing move. It breaks through screens. It's really powerful. It becomes even more powerful with Tyrunt. You get Play Rough with this thing. You get Iron Head with this thing. Like, you could do an Iron Head Earthquake set, and then that allows you to boost up both of your defenses while in Dynamax. I don't think you'd do that. You'd probably run Rock Slide. If I'm going to run this thing, I'd probably run like Rock Slide, Stab Dragon move, like Dragon Claw, a coverage move depending on what I want. You know, it'd probably end up being like one of the Elemental Fangs or Crunch because of that ability, or Psychic Fangs. But you could also make a case running Iron Head and Close Combat to, you know, for those max moves. And you like have to ask, at that point you're getting no benefit from Strong Jaw, so then you can run Sturdy, because if they do fire off a super effective max move, this thing's bulk isn't amazing, special defense wise. Attack wise, it's 89, 77 defense. Those are both really strong. Has crazy high base stats for Little Cup. But if you get hit by a super effective special move, you could go down. So Sturdy, you could run Sturdy. You could make a case for Sturdy. Next mod, Torchic. So Torchic So far I'd gotten pretty lucky in my league, or in my draft. I'd gotten basically all the things I wanted. I did go straight down the line like S, A, B, C, which maybe wasn't the best idea, but I think it worked out well for me. I'm really happy with my draft. I think I have one of the stronger drafts. But that's a bit biased because like you look into the mons you like look into, and then you see strong things in them, and maybe someone else just didn't really look into that and they just didn't see that. No, I'm sure there's a lot of other strong things I'm missing. But this was the first kind of disappointment. The way drafting turned out, there was most of the fire types were in S tier. There was a few in A tier, and then there was only 2 of them in B tier, and those were Charmander and Torchic. And there was Roly-Coly, but if you're gonna run Roly-Coly and do like basically budget, or well, not budget, you do baby, weakness policy, steam engine, just like Colossal, but it's a pure rock type. So yeah, it would get fire moves, but I don't know. I'm sure you could run it. I'm surprised no one did. At least not in our league. I haven't really checked the other leagues. Maybe someone did. I don't think they did though. You could do it. It'd be fun. But I want a Charmander. I thought Charmander would be really strong. I could pair it with Purrloin. Purrloin would use Prankster to set Sun. Charmander's ability makes it 1.5 times as strong in the Sun, and it would be really good. But that got taken from me like a bit before. So the only fire types I could get were then this, or then Roly-Coly, which isn't really a fire type. And I'm not too upset with Torchic. Its ability is speed boost, which means that it starts out slower at 45, but by turn 2 it might just be the fastest thing on the field. Or by turn, yeah, and then turn 3 it's guaranteed to be like the fastest thing on the field, almost. That's not true. Turn 2, speed boost would make it up to base 90. So like if you invest in speed, this thing could be really fast by turn 2. But if you want to run in Trick Room mode, you could run Blaze and just not have it boosted speed. Not that big a deal. The thing about Torchic is, let's look at the max. Let's look at the stats. 40 defense, 50 special defense. Not amazing, not horrible. We already talked about the speed. It just puts so many of its points into attack and special attack. So in Pokemon, you are going to pick one. You're not going to do both. It's a waste of like investing into stats. It's just, you're almost never going to run both. I don't know if anything runs both right now. Unless like you could have like a physical mon also have like Snarl or Electro Web or Icy Wind, and like that's it. But you can't invest into both. And then looking at this thing's max moves, it gets a lot of physical coverage. It gets bounce. Bounce is amazing. That gives you speed control, make you even faster. You get Phantasm to lower the defense, and then that makes it so you can, like, you're not going to use Astonish, or not. I thought I got Astonish. It gets Shadow Claw. So you could use it outside of Dynamax. You're going to use it to lower the defense. The next turn you're going to do even more damage. You get Max Quake to increase your special defense. You can get Max Darkness to lower special attack or special defense for your next moves, or for your teammates' moves. You get Max Knuckle to boost your own attack. But as you can see, its special attack is slightly higher. So it only gets fire and normal coverage in the special category. That is annoying. That is really annoying. You want to run this thing as a physical mon. It has better stats in special. It's like you can run it special, but you just wish that they had given it more special coverage for Dynamax. You'd wish that they would take these 20 points, but make this down to 40, and then put the 20 points in HP or defense, or split it between HP, defense, and special defense. But that is not what happened. This thing was kind of given horrible stats, which is tragic. You know, my main plan for this thing is to maybe, the reason I grabbed it is like, why grab a fire type? It rounds up my water, grass, now fire core, which I think is pretty important. My main remote I'm going to run with it is probably Heat Wave with Sunny Day Purrloin. That would have been infinitely better with Charmander. Charmander is faster on turn 1. It gets solar boost. It has a high special attack. You know, the solar boosted special attack even more, make it even more powerful. I really want a Charmander. I did. It gets better coverage. It gets like dragon coverage to make it so it can live longer. It gets a lot. It gets max airstream coverage as special. So it makes sense someone else took it. It's a very strong mon if you can set up the sun. I believe they have some methods to set up the sun, but a lot of the good sun setters are taken. Like Purrloin's one of the best, even though it's manual. But whatever. Couldn't get it. Got stuck with Torchic. I think this thing can be good. Not gonna be like amazing. I may have to run this thing physically, unfortunately, which just means the 70 special attack goes completely to waste. But it is what it is. Not much you can do. Maybe I'll end up trading it away. It's one of my least favorite mons on the team. But now we get into one of my favorites, Stufful. So as I said, I went in like tier order, which I wasn't originally intending on doing. I was intending on going into the lower tiers first, because the strategy. So for example, most people grab their S tier round 1 or round 2. One person got their S tier the last round. What they did is they went into the lower tiers very early, got a lot of strong Pokemon on the lower tiers, and then they knew that people wouldn't be left with enough points to get another S tier, so they could just leave their S tier pick to last. But this is, I think, the strongest. Well, strongest is subjective. You know, it depends on your team composition. Stufful is very strong for a bottom tier. These base 340. If you didn't know, the max is 365. The Tyrunt is at 362, so like he's cutting it close. Base 340, 50s in both defenses. Doesn't sound amazing. 75 attack, 70 HP. So 70 HP with these two defenses makes it pretty bulky. 75 attack is amazing. 50 speed is okay. You could pair it. You could decrease its speed with IVs, put it in Trick Room pretty well. You could pair it with Joltik and have it run hyper offensive pretty well. The reason this thing is amazing is its ability. Fluffy. Fluffy makes it so any physical moves are half damage. So basically that 50 defense is actually 100 defense. Unless it's a fire type move, and then those are doubled. Which, you know, that's balancing. That's actually more, that's like less than balancing. That's like, it probably should have more weaknesses, but I'm not complaining. I'm really surprised this thing didn't get taken. Normal fighting is not the best typing. Like, you're weak to fighting flying, psychic, fairy. I'm not gonna have a problem with fairy, but you get immunity to ghost. You resist bug, rock, and dark. And you resist, you know, every single physical move. So people just can't use physical moves because they're gonna do nothing. But as I said, its attack is really good. And it gets great coverage. You know, normal's a pretty good type to have. Stab, because then you can go for max airstreams and make the opponent slower. You can go from stab, max knuckles to make yourself stronger. You get ice punch, thunder punch, rock slide. I believe it gets. I thought it got play rough, but I guess it doesn't. But that's fine. You get Iron Head to boost your defense even more. You get an Earthquake to boost your special defense if you're worried about being taken out specially. You could run a pretty interesting Sword Stance set, I guess. I don't think I will, but it's there. It gets Charm. It gets Baby Doll Eyes. I think running this thing with support Baby Doll Eyes would be funny if I didn't already have a mon that could go for that or boosted charms that was infinitely better. But it could be a mix-up, you know? Never gonna do that. It gets coaching. This thing could be a pretty funny support mon. I'm never gonna use it like that. But that's Stufful. I'm really excited about that pick. I'm so surprised it didn't get taken. Next is Baltoy. This is... Alright. So when it came to getting this mon, one thing I'm proud of in my draft is up until my next pick, I didn't have any repeating types. I'd rounded out my Fire, Water, Grass core. Looking at the bottom tiers, Unless I wanted to grab like a really bad mon, I wasn't gonna round out my Dragon Steel Fairy Core, but that's fine. I mean, I get fairy coverage on, you know, Tyrunt, Purrloin, Frillish. I think Baltoy might get something. Yeah. But that's fine. Like, I wasn't gonna get fairy moves. I wasn't gonna stab fairy. It's a bit upsetting, but it's whatever. I need another Trick Room setter. At this point, I could either run Frillish as pure Trick Room with like a mon next to it, or I could run Purrloin, Frillish as like the copycat strat. I don't have any other Trick Room setters. That's not good. You want like 2. You want maybe more. As I said, I wanted Elglium, however you pronounce it. It has really good stats. It could be run. You could set Trick Room and make it offensive. You could even run it outside Trick Room because its ability makes it stronger if it goes last. I really wanted it. Pure Psychic is a pretty good type. Give me another type I don't have. That got taken really early, so I thought I was going to have to go with Muna. Muna, like base 24 speed, even slower. Pretty good defensive stats. And then that also got taken, which makes sense. People want an answer for Trick Room, or they want to have a Trick Room option. So then the only Trick Room Pokemon I think that was left was... I could check. I'll check right now. I think the only Trick Room option left was Baltoy. I can go, if I look back through right now, look in the tiers, there's a tier list. This is like based on how everything was picked. Oh, in the description I'm going to link the stream earlier. I'll link the Discord where this is all being held, where you can like see the tier. I'll link just the Google Doc or Google Sheets in general that shows all this. So the Trick Room mons left available to me were not great, not the best. I even wanted Esper. Like, Esper is even faster than Baltoy is, make it even worse Trick Room setter. But Baltoy, or Esper has amazing stats. I don't know why it's a C tier. Had amazing stats, got pretty good coverage, really good support mon, really considering that. The Trick Room setters left to me were like this. Ralts, which has horrible stats. I didn't want to grab Ralts. Like, yeah, it was a fairy psychic. You know, I was just saying how I couldn't round out fairy. Its stats are so bad that it would like die in one hit, so most of the time you wouldn't even be able to get Trick Room off, so it was just a waste of a pick, I thought. Atena, which is another pure psychic type. That also got fairy coverage. Also horrible stats, didn't want to grab that. And I believe that was all the Trick Room setters left. So it was between those few, and I just decided Baltoy was the best, the least bad. Like, it's not bad, it's just not the best Trick Room setter. Base 300 stats, that's fine. 55 defense, 70 special defense. Not crazy bulky, not horrible in bulk, but it's pretty bad bulk. Usually Trick Room setters are more bulky. That's a bit disappointing. But I think I can use this thing. Again, it's another unique typing. It's a somewhat good typing, you know, immune to electric. A few resistances, some weaknesses too. One interesting thing on this is that, you know, you can set Trick Room. It can, you know, ally switch, you know, disgusting strategies, but it can do that. It gets dual screens if I want to run that instead of Trick Room. Gets explosion if I ever want to like do cheese strats with that. I think that could be funny. Maybe. You could run Bulldoze. Like, do I have any mons that can take advantage of weakness policy? Well, we'll put it like this. If I'm asking the question if I have any mons that can take advantage of weakness policy, Bulldoze, if so, I'm not going to want to run it. I could run a weakness policy with Bulldoze with Tyrunt and Torchic, I guess. That is something I could do with this mod. Probably not going to, but I could. And this is a big thing. It gets Eerie Impulse, which is really surprising. This thing getting Eerie Impulse makes no sense, but I'll take it as a support move because it's, you know, Charm, but for special attack, so it's really strong. And it gets amazing coverage. Ice Beam, Psychic. You can even run this thing physically because its physical and special attacks are the same. So just based on this, you're going to want to run specially. You get Dazzling Gleam, a Gleam, I can't talk, Earth Power, Shadow Ball, as I said, Psychic, Ice Beam. That's really it. Or you run physically, I guess. You won't do horribly with it physically. Interesting pick. I think I can do some stuff with it as bringing out like first to set up for Frillish maybe. But not my favorite pick. Now we're gonna go into what the people running this consider to be the worst part of my draft. So they said that I had 3 water types, and that was a bad part of my draft. They have bad synergy, make the team less versatile. So at this point, I have 2 more picks. There's a few things I'm looking at. I knew I wanted to get another water type, preferably, or not preferably, I wanted a Swift Swim user. I could pair the Swift Swim user next to Purrloin. Purrloin would use its stab, or use its prankster to set up Rain, make the Swift Swim user crazy fast. You know, it's late in the draft. I've gotten sniped a lot of times. I've lost out on some things I want to do. I felt like this was a great way to counter opposing weather. It makes it so I can counter, like if they have a sun team, I can bring this out and then counter their, you know, Vulpix that set up sun. It gives me a lot of options. And as I said, these 3, although they are all grass types, they're never coming on a team together. They just aren't. And I intentionally picked that way. So I was really debating getting these 2, but so I picked Horsea first. I'll do that. As I said, Swift Swim. In rain, its speed doubles. You set it up. It has 60 speed, has 70 defense, 70 special attack, horrible special defense, horrible HP. It doesn't need those. It's going to come out into the field, have the rain, get it crazy fast. With 70 special attack, it's going to use Muddy Water, special water move that hits both the opponents. It has pretty low accuracy, but because it's hitting 2 mons, it should hit most of the time. That Muddy Water is stab, boosted by rain, 90 base power, hitting both mons. And it can lower their accuracy with 30% chance, so it's not a horrible chance about that. That's what that's going to do. And then it gets other coverage. So if you want to Dynamax it in rain, you can do that. It gets Dragon Pulse. It gets, you get to run a single target, Scald. It gets Flash Cannon. So you could make this thing somewhat bulky. I mean, you're not going to make it crazy bulky. You get Clear Smog. I think I got another poison move somewhere. Maybe just Clear Smog. Alright, well, you could run Clear Smog just for the max ooze to boost your special attack and make you more powerful, I guess. That's something you can do. I mean, it's a pretty one-dimensional mon, so it's not very versatile, but it gets all that. It gets Ice Beam. You know, ice coverage is always nice. You're not going to want to use max ice, because then that takes away the rain. But that's what that's for. It's a hyper offense, rain sweeper. And now, I'm not going to type in Arrokuda because I'll get it wrong. Just do this. I picked Arrokuda as my last mon. This came back to me, there's even less mons. Arrokuda is the other side of the same coin of like Horsea. What you're going to use it for is special attack, usually better because it can't be intimidated. Usually things have lower special defense than physical defense, especially like lower or unevolved mons, as like we've seen with our team. But if they have a really good team, especially, or if they just don't have Intimidate, or if it's about even, Arrokuda is a better mon, I think. Its attacking stats slightly lower, its speed slightly higher, its defenses are even slightly higher. Defense isn't, its special defense slightly higher. So like, it's a more frail mon overall, but look, even just looking at the max moves, it gets crazy coverage. So you bring this thing out, also put it under rain, and then throw out physical moves. It gets Aqua Jet just for crazy powerful priority, which you can do. You get Liquidation, you get Crunch, you get Bounce for speed control, you get Ice Fang. I mean, not going to want to use that much in Dynamax because, again, rain, but it's something you can use. You get Poison Jab, you get Close Combat, you get... The nice thing about Close Combat is Close Combat, it's really powerful, 120 power, and then it makes you less bulky. So you gotta decide, like, a lot of mons that run it are already really frail. Arrokudas are different. This thing is not taking a hit at all. So running Close Combat doesn't make a difference. Poison Jab I just mentioned. Drill Run, Throat Chop, Psychic Fangs, Liquidation again, Night Slash. You get a lot of things. You can use Scale Shot to lower their attack. You get so much coverage that you can just Dynamax this thing turn 1. Take out, like, nuke a mon on the other side of the field. You're going to want to use Liquidation because it's stab and it's boosted by the rain you're in. So it's not an amazing mon, you know, it's pretty frail like I just said, but it's never going to be on the same team. Like Frillish, Horsea, and Arrokuda are never coming to the same match. So, like, yeah, I have 3 water types, and you could argue I should use my picks for other things, but there was nothing else I really wanted or needed. And I think just saying, okay, there's nothing else I really want or need, I think my team's good. Adding these 2 just as, like, options is pretty good. Like, maybe I can look again. Maybe I drop Arrokuda for Rockruff or something. I don't know. I'll have to take a look at some of the mons left, because trades are going to be opening up pretty soon. But that is my team. I think it is pretty strong. I don't think it's perfect or anything. You know, I got sniped for a few things that I really wanted. There's a few mons that I really wish I had gotten. You know, but that's how draft goes. I think in general it turned out really well. Frillish, Purrloin, Ferroseed, Joltik, and Tyrunt I am super happy with. Super happy with Stufful, so that's 6 out of the 10 members of my team that I'm super happy with. I'm really happy with getting Horsea as well. Baltoy I'm happy enough about. Arrokuda, that's not true. Baltoy is a bit, you know, it was my 3rd trigger mon, so it's a bit disappointing. Torchic was a backup to Charmander. I think Charmander fit much better onto my team. It was another special attacker after, you know, these 2 were physical attackers. This thing's a physical attacker. So having another special attacker on the team. Torchic is also a special attacker. But having him on that, like, had, like, it has the same defenses as Torchic. It has 20 higher speed. It's like, it has a slightly lower special attack and slightly lower attack. Or no, slightly lower special attack and much lower attacks. Like, the attack is put into other places, making it overall more bulky, overall faster. Like, yeah, speed boost is going to make Torchic faster, but that doesn't really matter. And then the ability was better. So I really wanted Charmander. Maybe I can see if I can trade for it. I don't think I'll be able to, but, you know, don't want to give up on that. I think that thing would fit really well into my team with its coverage and stuff. But common team comps, I could see running like Frillish, Purrloin, Ferroseed, Stufful. I think Stufful's an amazing turn 1 Dynamax mon. I think I could, you know, Purrloin has synergy with just about everything. Like, really just about everything. The ability to, like, run it along Tyrunt. So if there's 2 mons on the field, one's faster than Tyrunt, Purrloin can put a, can use Stab Thunder Wave and make Tyrunt the fastest thing. Or, if you're worried about one of your mons being taken out by a strong physical move, you can run Charm, and do that. It can run Snarl to lower special attacks. I mean, it's not going to be strength or boosted, but this thing's fast without it. Turn 1, you can use it. Bake out. I'm really happy with this pick. Really happy with Frillish. Strong trigger mon. Already talked about how versatile it is. Ferroseed, I think it's going to be amazing. Joltik, I think, gives me a lot of versatility with speed control. You can pair it well with these 2, with Stufful, these mons even. Tyrunt I already explained. Stufful's a great turn 1. I think I have a lot of synergy in this team. and a lot of options for what I can do. I think I cover a lot of things. I think there's going to be some tough matchups. My week 1 matchup is against the person whose team got the 2nd highest rating of all the teams, which is pretty scary, and also they won like the actual league recently. So that is really scary. But I have now been recording for over an hour just talking about these Pokemon. No one's going to be watching to this length. If you are, thank you so much. That's about it. Probably leave timestamps showing where I break down certain mons, just because I'd want that if someone else posted it. But other than that, yeah, that's it. I'm super excited for this. Expect the footage to be put up from these matches and stuff. I'll probably put up footage of me practicing even. With that, you know, hope you enjoy the video. Hope you stick around for the rest of the content regarding this. Should be fun.